Hi everybody, welcome to Beach Walks with Rocks. Today is show number 166 and you can find us at beachwalks.tv and in Hawaii. Hey, it's bright and sunny today. I forgot my hat. Anyway, I'm going to try something this week. Matt wrote in and asked a couple of questions. So Matt, I'm going to cover your topic, but it's going to be in my usual rambling way because I think it's a big question, too big for one show. And basic question is how to go about making a change in your life, you know, a course correction. Because on the one hand we have Lexi, excuse me one moment please. What are you doing? Let's go. On the one hand we have lots of examples of people who change their careers. But on the other hand, when we're looking behind our own eyes, it can seem to be a very confusing, at times terrifying thing to do. And basically that's because of the conflict that's generated between what I call the number one personality and the number two personality. The number one being our functional, powerful adult. The number two being all of those little people we were in the past before we knew that we really had some power in our lives. And so the first thing to sort out is realizing that the universe really runs on many principles, but one of them being that we get to choose our preferences. There's a saying I like that there's an absolute criteria for nothing, which means at its core, everything is subjective. The number twos kind of run the world and try to make out like everything is objective, that there is an absolute. And in fact, I don't believe that there is. And so an example I use a lot is, I heard a couple on NPR many years ago. The husband was in favor of allowing women the right to have an abortion, and the wife was against that. She was pro-life, as they call it. And they had the most adult, mature, heartfelt discussion about their very different preferences. Neither one of them tried to go to the place that said it's absolutely right or it's absolutely wrong to have an abortion or to prohibit abortion. They simply made a very passionate case for their preference. And I try to use that day in and day out on really simple things. Like if I see someone who's wearing a dress I like, instead of making an absolute statement that says that dress is beautiful, I try to acknowledge that that's just my opinion and say something like, I think you look beautiful in that dress. And when we start building a muscle to claim our preference without having the pressure of having to make our preference an absolute truth, it frees up so many things. It frees us up to try things without having to know if it's right or wrong. It frees us to have more respectful and curious and open-minded conversations with people who might see the world a different way. It just, for me, it's so much more relaxing, so much more empowering, all in the same moment. So let's just start with that today. I'll build on a couple of other ideas throughout the rest of the week in terms of how you might go about making a real major course change in life. Because those of you that have listened to previous shows know that I started off in college as a marine biologist, went and became a ballerina, jumped over, owned an exercise studio, became a public speaker, worked as owner of a web development company. Who knows what I'm doing now? I'm living a wonderful life in Hawaii, working about 4 different jobs. But anyway, that's the story for today. If you'd like to Skype me and Lexi on the conch line, you can do so at Roxanne Darling. If you'd like to call us on the conch, it's 949-544-1456. Aloha, and thanks so much for joining me today, everybody. Hui ho. Come here, girlfriend. Are you as tired as I am? Let's go. Let's go. Hey, Dave sent in a picture of his daughter Heidi, who always eats her porridge every morning with Beachwalks, so I'm going to show that to you in a second. If you'd like to send us your picture, we'd love to have it. Just email it to beachwalks@gmail.com. All right, everybody say aloha to Heidi. Aloha, Heidi.